Hey everybody, it's Derek with the Swarm here, bringing you the latest recap from the Champions War League Invite League action. Uh, this one we took on Success here, did come away with the 7-star victory. Another very impressive performance from the Swarm. We'll take a look at everything they did to our bases. Kind of struggled a little bit, especially for them. They weren't able to clear one of the 11s. We were able to get those done very efficiently. A great job from the 9s. I think high 60s or 70% hit rate. So great job to everybody down there. And didn't write it down. I should have for the 10v11, but I know it was pretty good. I think 6 for 10, so like 60%. Pretty good there. We'll take a look at a couple of these 10v10 triples. We did get 5 of them. First up, we have CCL, and I'll go ahead and show this. There's a hole right there, so he's going to go ahead and drop a Barbarian, lure that CC, kind of pull it away, and just keep it distracted for a little bit. So that gets off to the side. Not a whole lot. Drops a Rage, a Heal, Golem, King, Queen, Bowlers in the CC. And then from there, it's just really gutting the core. Certainly just a mistake on their part and having this able to have that hole in the base. But hey, you got to get it done. Sometimes those things happen. They've happened to us. I believe it happened to us in the first week of the season. I feel like maybe it was like one of the arranged wars we did right before. But you know, sometimes that just happened. Put something down a little bit wrong and don't think is fine, so you don't look at it or anything like that. So the King and the Queen have gone out, cleared the core. Not a whole lot fancy going on in this raid. So then it's just going to lollow the top half of this base and come down towards the bottom. So as the loons all kind of collapse in, they'll go end up that Tesla pulls them down a little bit, but either way they go ahead and crush a couple defenses down there, get that taken care of, and then the rest of the loons just taking out the top half of this base. There's really nothing to hit that can even really do damage to them until they get down to the bottom side. Still has a Hound in the bag, pasting those loons all around so they'll get on top of that air defense super quickly, take that out. And then from there move down to the bottom half of the base, comes in with a few more loons with that Hound tanking all the archer towers, the wizard towers, just nicely deployed there. And then as they take out the Inferno Tower, there's really just that Wizard Tower, big threat. Does have 2 more loons, so goes ahead and sends those out on the last little Tesla, and then just kind of coming in here, hasting the loons into the first Archer Tower, does poison those little pups, and then hasting the loons, just barely has enough loons living, and goes to that final Archer Tower to take that out. Then just clears all the trash, picks up the 3-star, one of our 5 on this one, so great job. We don't think we cleared 10s. I feel like there's 1 left up, but definitely could have. We had like a DC from one of our 11s, so it's just a little unfortunate there. We'll go ahead and take a look at this was the last 10v10 triple we got of the war. GCH doing what GCH does, and that's tripling Town Hall 10s. So he came in here, has a baby dragon to set up this funnel very nicely, so his queen is supposed to walk right in, wants to wall break on that archer tower, go get the Inferno Tower, the AD, everything. Here comes the wall breakers. Unfortunately, the first one, there wasn't enough of a delay between the first and the pack, so the wall breakers took the brunt of that small bomb, which caused them to break open. So the queen was adjusted a little bit to come get some value up top. She does that, takes care of some wizard towers, but the Inferno Tower is still up. I was kind of thinking like, oh no, this is not going to be good. And there's kind of a lot of issues. He just adjusts the Lalo, gets all the pre-haste down, and then sends in the loons to take out the Inferno Tower, and then just going to kind of collapse around the rest of this base. So in come some loons all over the place. and just really collapsing the sides here and kind of forcing everything onto the center of this base. In comes the first rage spell over Tesla and Expo and kind of everything in there. 2 Skelly spells do go down on the Queen with a rage spell, and as soon as that bomb tower dies, they really start being effective. The pups are under rage, so they're really taking out the King and the Queen. And then it's just kind of hasting everything up into the final little bits here. So many loons left up. They're kind of in separate little packs, so they weren't able to like get damaged by a lot by any of the splash damage. Goes ahead and pulls the Hound away to the best of his ability, and then just clears out the rest of the trash. One of the ones, I mean, this is just a huge hit. Anytime you can end the war, get a 5th 10v10 triple. That's very impressive, very, very good for the clan, obviously putting us in a great position to win this war. And just fun being here, fun being part of such a talented, deep roster. Picks up that 3-star, great job, GCH. Next up, I think this was, the next one is probably my favorite. I think it was my favorite raid of the war. Hannah did a great job here cleaning up this raid. And doing a little queen walk. It had a bunch of minions, another like really cool thing. Just kind of like a base that is really weird looking. So anytime, like picking up those triples are kind of, you know, I sit there and I'm like, who the hell even like designs a base like this? And then I talked to CCL and I remember how people can do this. So anyway, Hannah comes in with this queen walk, coming down the base, gonna get a couple air defenses, and just has like minion clearing some trash. But yeah, they're taking out some trash, gonna get a couple cannons. In comes the king with a couple wizards behind, clearing out more trash, so the queen will eventually charge into where she needs to go. And from there she'll start walking down, wall breaks nicely on that air defense there, so everything's going to go in well. Comes in with a delayed wizard to just take out the hound a little bit quicker. Loon dies to the poison, wonderful, and then just some minions to clear the pups up. So from here, the queen will now walk in and start doing lots of really cool work. One of the nice things here, the wizard was able to get that wizard tower at the end. In comes the first rage spell, and then loses a healer to a black bomb, and another one. Goes ahead then and ends up freezing the Inferno Tower. Not something you see a lot. Had to go ahead and use that ability early, which becomes quite an issue here. The queen didn't get quite as much value as she did on some of the other raids because 2 healers are down and 3-point defense on her. So everything's moving right across. Takes out the second Inferno Tower, gets a sweeper, and then kind of moving everything right along. Has 2 rage spells left, and 2 hounds up with a third coming in. So kind of plenty of tankage. Does have the first hound pop, and then just the other hound's pretty close to being dead. They've all kind of soaked up some black bombs, and then there's all this point defense on the third hound that came across. The rage spells come in, and here's where the loons get a great split. They're taking out all these multiple defenses at the same time, which just kind of cripples this base. Gets a good split going over to the wizard tower. Not the whole pack went over there, just a couple, and then finishes off the rest of this base with so many loons up. And I'm going to sneeze here in just a second. So goes ahead and clears out the rest of this trash. Does an absolutely wonderful job. And just, you know, great job, Hannah. It was a super cool raid. I really liked it. I love like that queen walk. It was such a cool idea and how that freeze was used. Next up, we will have Manowar Mort. Mort got a 10v10 6-pack. We're going to take a look at both of them. First one was the Bowie idea. Kind of a weird looking base. I mean, anyways, looks weird to me anyways. So in comes the first gold. And the second. with some bowlers and witches kind of setting off the funnel on the sides. Does just have those two jumps, so it has to get quite a long ways across this base. But luckily, it's able to kind of jump in that unique spot there where everything kind of works out well to go deep into this base. Some giant bombs go off, a lot of damage being done to the bowlers, but they're doing so much with that rage and their bowler bounce and getting all over the place, and it's really helping to even take care of the flanks because their bowler bounces are just going all over the place. Jumps into that second Inferno Tower, and then from there, I mean, it looks pretty iffy, you know, watching this live, or if you watch this replay, kind of like, wow, this looks pretty close here. Some witches are dying all over the place. But the queen is backing up the witches on the side without bowlers, and the other side has bowlers. So they're doing just tons of damage to the cannons and to everything that's up and around. So the queen almost dies. She still has her ability, but kind of lost tons and tons of her health with 3-point defense left. But here's the big kind of thing that saves this raid is this golem. Even though it is very, very low, and then it does pop and wonderfully tanked, which allows the bowler to step up and just have his bowler bounce take out the cannon. Queen's able to pop her ability to take out the mortar and the air defense, or the archer tower. And then one cannon left, 2 witches up, and a bunch of archers to tank for the queen, and that's going to be over. Finishes off that queen altar, gets the 3-star. That was Mort's second hit, I believe. Pretty sure that was the second one. But either way, 6 packs, we're going to see Mort again on 22 with the Suicide Hero, Max Laloon. And we'll go ahead and get the air defenses up here at 12. Drops down the wizard and the king funneling off the king there, so that'll all be great. The queen will start stepping up, pops that king ability pretty early, goes ahead and sends in the giant to tank. Luckily they missed the mortar shell, so the queen's able to get right on in there and just clear a whole bunch of defenses. The king's there, which not like great, but you know, anything you can get that's a little extra value is always nice. Just takes away one thing the loons have to chase down or pups get distracted on. King's cleared like so much of this base, so great value from the Suicide King clearing like a quarter of the base for just the 2 heroes. Because all these loons are collapsing around, and they take out the Inferno Tower. The Skellies come down. They're in 2 compartments, unfortunately, but I don't believe the Skellies kill. Yeah, they don't kill the queen, but they do distract her long enough that that's really all that matters. Is it kept her away from the loons, from the hounds, till the damage was done in this base. All these loons in such a pack, just being hasted all around, taking care of everything. There's just nothing left in this base. Just did an absolute wonderful job on this loon deployment. And with it being a little bit under level point defense and everything, was not going to be too much of an issue. The queen basically, I mean, raid's over and just clearing the trash now, and the queen's still up. It tells you how well this plan was executed from the Lalo standpoint. Obviously, not part of the plan to leave the queen up, but that's, you know, sometimes that happens with those Skelly spells if she happens to jump into a weird spot. The loons do get her, loses a lot of the pups, so cleanup takes that extra 10 seconds, which totally ruined this raid from being absolutely perfect. No, it was a great job. Mort totally killed it. 6-pack, wonderful. I'll take a look at some of the 9v9 action. They did very, very good. Went down a little too far. First up, we have Turtle coming in here on number 24. And bringing dragons, which, well, see again. But really cool to see some dragon raids at 9. You don't see that a whole lot nowadays with how prevalent Lalo is, or like Stone Hobo, things like that. It's just there's typically better options to a base, I guess, and that's what people tend to do. So pops that king ability, the queen ability. They wanted to just go ahead and get two EDs taken care of, and kind of doing a nice job of like funneling that base. Nice enough. So in comes a poison spell to kind of take care of CC. Healing and raging the dragons to get through the CC, the queen, and the king. And then has a few loons to take care of some of the defenses. And then here comes the rest of Alalo, just deploying these loons on some of this oddball, the defenses sitting here on the outside. There's really just got in that one area at 6 o'clock that's like super deadly, and then the rest of the base, once the loons get through that, it's pretty much over. But the dragons do all the tanking through it, take it all out under rage. And the loons, since these dragons are up tanking all over the place, the loons are really able to get tons and tons of value with just their minimal drops. So there's just a really cool executed plan, a really cool design plan, and the execution was wonderful. Gets the 3-star. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure nothing's new under the sun, as they say. But I don't recall any time I've seen an attack that's like quite like this. It wasn't like Suicide. I mean, it was kind of like Suicide Dragons for the Queen, but a little bit more of an investment. But still with the Lalo, and I don't know, it's just a really cool raid. So go ahead and watch here. Turtle did a wonderful job getting this done. A great job, Turtle. Absolutely ridiculous, as always. Next up, we have Ragnar. Absolute fun fact, Ragnar loves pizza. Apparently, from our chats about being jealous about some brick oven pizza cooking thing. Yeah, I'm real good with words sometimes. This is another really cool one with dragons. I mean, especially this is 2 golems plus these wizards plus bowlers that are in the CC and still using dragons. Like, that's, I know I had never seen anything like that until this raid. Some of the stuff you get to see at Town Hall 9 is just really cool. So raging the bowlers, that's going to go ahead and take care of that CC and the Expo sweeper, all these kind of things that matter, as well as two air defenses. Fortunately, that doesn't happen. By 2, I meant 3 air defenses. That was all part of that. So all the air defenses down. There is 6 dragons here. So 1 up for funneling, 4 that are going at the core of this base. 1 that died, basically does the black bomb. And then from here, just kind of, once that sweeper's down, the dragons are pretty much free. The queen and bowlers are doing a wonderful job walking around the base. They're just taking out so much. So as the queen dies, has a couple of loons just to target some defenses, but they kind of end up going down very, very quickly. And then the dragons are just kind of moving all along. A couple of them are pretty weak, especially in that main group that was up there. But luckily the good ones, the ones that have a ton of health, get targeted with the Expo. And that kind of takes care of this base. The dragons just move kind of slowly. They take out all the rest and get it done. Only 2 dragons left. But like I said, luckily the ones at the high health happen to be tanking in the right times, which allowed this attack to succeed. So cool idea, Ragnar. That was a great hit. I believe that's your first time on the channel, so welcome to the channel. At least first time with me doing a recap. Last one we have Monty. Monty was super kind to join me and hang out on stream and watch for some lives. So we can definitely repay him by showing his hits, which that is not why for real though. But it was just a real cool hit, really nicely done. Suicide Hero, Lalo. The Suicide Hero, nothing overly special about this. Great funnel, went in there, got taken care of. But I love the Lalo. I thought that was an absolutely beautifully executed one. So as soon pops that Queen ability, goes ahead and takes out the baby drag, and then starts the Lalo. So in comes the Hound, and then just targeting these loons all around. But what I really liked about this is he's really hitting the Lalo from like the entire base, which is kind of hard to manage. Not like an easy thing to do. So it's a very impressive skill. So great job healing, and kind of everything timed up really well. So like, you know, it's all right there under a heal. So that was really special. And then still as that last heal left, there were these wizard towers on the far side, so that's kind of a little bit of a hassle. But from there, just taking out the last couple defenses. So the Queen's still up. I mean, it's a Suicide Hero raid, but the Queen lives through the raid. And then all these loons clearing out the rest of the trash. Goes ahead and swags the heal spell, and as well as quite a few troops. Gets the job done. Picks up the 3-star, and just part of our awesome 9 performance. So great job. Great job, Monty. And, you know, great job to everybody at the Swarm. Obviously, a 7-star victory is very impressive. Next week, we will be facing Tactical Inc. Going for 4-0. This will be the last war before the bye, the league bye week. And then 6S will be facing Mariana Trench. Mariana Trench coming off a big win. So they'll be ready to go. Trying to get to that 3, you know, 6S trying to get to 3-1. We'll be trying to go to 4-0, as I said. So till next time, guys. See ya. Yeah.